Hello, welcome to Late Night Creations. My name is Kendra and I'm glad you're here today because we are going to craft together. Let's get started. Our first DIY, we're starting out with one of these heart palette signs from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to take it apart. And I'm going to heat this up with my little heat gun and pop these off. I'm being very careful because it did rip off some of the wood off of one of these little slats, and I had to glue it back down. I didn't show that on camera, but I did have to glue it back down, so I'm being kind of careful with this. You can see at the top where those little holes are. Off camera, I put some wood putty in there and glued those together. Also, I think off camera, I don't think I recorded that I painted the entire front of this piece with white chalk paint. But you can see that these things come off pretty easily. Okay, now I've removed them all. Yes, I painted all this with some white chalk paint, and I'm going to cover all of it up with something else, but I just gave it all a base coat with white. Now I'm putting Mod Podge all over this piece, being sure to get it all the way out to the edges on this piece and the bottom piece, this little triangle piece. And then I'm going to put it to the side and let it dry completely because we're going to use the iron-on method after a while. Now I have this piece of white fabric that was the curtain to my room in the salon, and I changed it out, so I brought it home to use it as scrap fabric. And I absolutely adore this fabric, so I'm going to use it up. So I just cut it to fit this little slat, and I'm going to use some Aleene's tacky glue, and I'm going to put a big glob of it on there, and it's super thick, so I wet my paintbrush, got some water on there, and just thinned it out a little bit, and got a good heavy coat of that glue on there. And I'm going to find the right side of my fabric and get this turned around and put it on there. I'm going to get my little squeegee with my little missing fingernail on there, and then I'm going to use the squeegee to spread the glue out underneath there, and then just make sure all my edges have Mod Podge under them. And not Mod Podge, I didn't use Mod Podge, silly girl, it's glue. Okay, then just trim up the edges. Okay, now I'm finding some paint that matches this beautiful scrapbook paper that I'm going to use, and this paint is Craft Smart that comes from Michaels, and it is the color Rose. It's a beautiful pink, and it matches that scrapbook paper that I got from Michaels, and I just absolutely love that scrapbook paper. I love scrapbook paper. I have so much. I have like an obsession with it. Every time I go to Hobby Lobby, I go to the scrapbook paper. If it's 50% off, y'all, I just can't help myself. I love all the pretty paper. I have to buy it. So now I got most of that pink out of my brush on the napkin, and then I just put did a little white dry brushing on there. Now on the top piece and the bottom piece where we put that Mod Podge, I'm going to put some of this beautiful scrapbook paper. So I'm placing it over the part of the paper that I want on there, and I'm just going to do a little rough cut, cutting that paper out for the top piece and the bottom piece. And then we're going to use the iron-on method. If you've been around very long on my channel, you're going to know that I love this iron-on method. That Mod Podge is completely dry. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. But this is my favorite method to Mod Podge because this heat reactivates that Mod Podge under there, and it gives you the most beautiful finish with no wrinkles or bubbles. Now, you can put an extra coat of Mod Podge on top if you want to. I chose not to on this project. Then I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to clean those edges up all nice and smooth. Sometimes I use some sandpaper to make the edges nice and smooth, but today I'm just using my X-Acto knife. I'm going to bring those pieces back in and see how they look. Now I went out to the shop and I got my scrap wood and I cut the pieces all the size I wanted, and I'm using the super glue wood glue from Dollar Tree, and I'm just gluing these planks together. This glue is going to hold them good and nice and tight. It works like a charm. It's awesome. Now, the scrap wood came because I have this awesome client named Diane, and she said, my husband has a bunch of scrap wood in the garage, and I told him that you do crafts and you might like to have it. Would you like to come over and get it? And I went, and they filled the back end of my SUV full of scrap wood. So this is some of that scrap wood. You can see I'm just taking these craft sticks, and these are like the size of tongue depressors, and I am just going to glue them with some wood glue to give a little extra support on the back, and then I'm just going to staple it because I'm a little impatient to wait for that wood glue to dry. So this is going to give it a little extra support while it dries. I painted it all with Aged Gray by Rust-Oleum. It's a chalk paint. And then I'm going to take this Elephant by Waverly, and I'm going to give it some dry brush in there to give it a little dimension. Or like my friend Annie Jones says, depth. And then I did that same thing with the paintbrush. Just got all the gray out, the dark out as much as I could, and then just dipped it in the white because I don't like to wash paintbrushes. I have this saying that says, I love to wash paintbrushes. Said no crafter ever. Okay, so I'm going to lay these pieces on here and get them all laid out like I want them. I just love this look. I have a piece in my bathroom that I did that matches my bathroom that I did this with. Then I'm just going to put some hot glue and some more of that awesome wood glue. Good hold, fast hold. And I'm just going to do that with all of these pieces. I don't think I'm going to show you all of them, but you get the gist of it. We're going to glue these down. And then with that same white fabric, I'm going to make just a simple bow. I think I might have done 2 loops on it. I'm going to glue it up there. I'm sorry I'm out of frame, but this was a big piece and it just didn't fit. I should have raised my camera up a little bit. And then I'm just going to put a couple little pieces of greenery in that bow. And then I'm going to cut up the little tails, and I'm going to tie this little key. This is the key. And just tie it up there. I think this is cute. I get these keys off of Amazon. I'll link them in the description box below in case you're interested in getting some. And I think this just turned out adorable. Let me know what you think. Okay, our next DIY comes, this piece was complimentary from my sister. She gave me a big bag of things from the Target Dollar Spot. I don't know why she bought these things and didn't use them, but there was a big bag full of items, and if she's watching, maybe she can comment and say why she didn't use all that stuff she bought. Just like us, we buy stuff and don't use it. But anyway, I'm very grateful that she gave it to me. So you can see I have another beautiful piece of scrapbook paper, and I'm just cutting it down to fit into that spot up there that says laundry. Now this little thing was just as cute as it could be, like it was, but I just wanted to, do what we do, take it up a notch. So I'm going to use the little squeegee tool and spread that glue around, and then I'm also going to put 3 hearts on it. And I'm going to use the glue stick. You could use Mod Podge if you want, but the glue is going to hold it just fine. And I'm going to use that X-Acto knife to cut that paper. Trim it up. I think I might have used the sandpaper a little bit on that one. And I'm going to use a sponge. I learned this from Bargain Bethany about 3 or 4 years ago, probably 5 years ago, and to paint with that makeup sponge. I'm going to use the DIY white wax and put that white wax on to just give that a softer look, and I love how that looks. So I did that. Then I'm taking a piece of twine. I'm going to tie a knot in each end, and I'm going to measure from one side of this to the other, and I'm going to glue that on to make a little clothesline. This is simple little DIY. So I'm going to use a little hot glue, and I'm just going to simply glue that on there. This is a little wood frame on there, so that twine's going to hold on to that with some hot glue just fine. And then I'm just going to take those little clothespins that I have, those little mini clothespins, and I'm going to put those hearts right on there. Now, I thought about putting this little Be Mine from Dollar Tree on there, and now that I'm watching myself do that, I'm thinking I should have put it up there on that floral paper, but I didn't. I still can, but let me know if you would have put that on there, or if you would have put something else on there. Our next DIY is a Dollar Tree sign, and I took those little foam flowers off. They were cute, but we're going to make it cuter, and so some of that stuck pretty hard. I had to work at it. Okay, so this is one of those little wooden hearts that comes from Dollar Tree. They come several in a package. I don't know if they had them this year. I didn't get any Valentine stuff from Dollar Tree this year. I'm crafting my stash, and so I just put some wood filler in that little heart. Now some more scrapbook paper. I'm trying to decide which way I want that wood grain to go, and I'm just going to draw some lines with my pencil and cut it with my scissors, make it fit on that sign. And I'm just going to use Elmer's glue stick and get it on there really good and put the scrapbook paper on there. And I use my squeegee to make sure that all of the paper is adhered all over. Make it nice and smooth. This little wooden house came from Dollar Tree, but they didn't have them at my Dollar Tree, so I ordered them online. Of course, I had to buy 24 of them, so you're going to probably be seeing them a lot in DIYs to come. Now I'm trying to decide which paper that I want to put on this house. I love all of these papers, but I decided in the end to go with this pink one. I'm going to use the Mod Podge iron-on method again. So I'm going to put that on there, let it dry, and then I mixed up this paint just to a color that I wanted, that I thought matched with that scrapbook paper, and I'm just going to paint the edges of that house. And then I'm going to sand that off, and I had something yucky on my sandpaper, and it kind of made my heart a little bit yucky. But I painted over it with that same paint that I painted the side of the house with, and just gave it one good coat. And I'm checking to make sure it matches that paper. I'm testing that out to make sure that that's dry, and it was. So now we're just going to iron that on. It's very quick. If you've never tried this method, go for it. Trimming it up with my X-Acto knife. Dusting it off. And we're just going to glue it on there. Maybe I'm placing it. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Who knows? Placing it to see if it's going to fit good. Then I decided that this frame was just not the right color. It was too kind of yellowish, goldish, something with that wood grain of that paper. So I get truffle. I get this dark chocolate brown from Anita's. Then I get my ink by Waverly out, and I start mixing the dark brown and the black. And this frame has it's kind of like a vinyl plastic coating on it, you know, like it's contact paper or something over it. So the paint didn't really adhere good, so I just sort of wiped it off. I'm practicing on the back, so I decide I get a technique that I like. So I mix this brown and the black together, and I just and it does have grooves in it a little bit. It's really weird. Tell me if you've had any of these frames and you know what I'm talking about. So I just kind of wiped it on, wiped it off, just to give it a little bit different color, a little tone, just change the tone of it a little. So now I'm just going to glue all my pieces down with some hot glue, put that heart on there, put the house, and then this little metal love piece that they have at Dollar Tree usually every year. Like I said, I haven't been this year. They come 3 in a package. And then I'm just going to put everything back in the frame. Make sure I have the hanger at the top. I'm kind of bad about remembering to do that. And it turns out really cute. But that little heart needed something, so I decided to put a little twine bow right there. And you can hang this, or you could set it and have it be just a little leaner on a table. Okay, for our last one, and probably my favorite one in this video, I'm just going to mix up some, what is this? Antique Wax by Waverly with some water to make a stain. You've probably seen everybody do this because it's a very popular technique. Now this is just some scrap wood, some more of that scrap wood from my beautiful client who gave me all that scrap wood. And I'm just, you see what I'm doing. I'm just painting it on there and wiping it off. You have to be careful not to get too much because it can make the wood wet. So just put it on there and wipe it off. You can see on the left I'm going to put some hearts and some keys on it. And as soon as I get it all painted, front, back, sides, top, bottom. And then I'm going to take these 3 hearts, and I have this kind of pink mauve color that I've mixed up a long time ago, and I kept mixing trying to get the right color, so I had a lot of it left over. Let me know if you've ever done that. And then I have some white over here, and I'm just going to keep adding white until I get in the color, till I get the right color. I'm going to do a kind of an ombre effect. So we're going to have the 3 hearts. They're just going to get lighter as we go. Just keep adding white. So we'll have 3 different colors. A dark, a medium, and a light. And then when they get all dry, I lay them on top of the stained piece of wood to see how they look and lay them out. And I decide that they need a little definition. They just look kind of bland. So I took some white chalk paint and dry brushed around the edges to give it some definition, almost kind of like outlining them. I usually start out with a little and then just keep adding until I get the right amount that I want. I really love the color of this heart. I really love this color pink. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. I'm going to use a little wood glue, a little hot glue, glue these on. There, my wood glue went rolling off the table. Okay, and I guess in between this video I got my nails done because that nail's back on there. Woohoo! And don't worry about those holes because we're going to put those little keys. Those little keys were a separate package. I'll try to remember to link both of those in the description box. Now I'm using some DIY clear wax because I want to seal this up, and it just gives it a finished look, and it just makes it look high-end. And I'm going to do it on the hearts and the wood piece all over. It just seals it, just makes your project look really nice. I'll leave a link to Upcycle by Bree. That's where I get my DIY wax and paints. Her link will be in the description box. So I'm going to use this E6000. I'm going to squeeze some out and just use a toothpick to apply it. I did try to use a drop of hot glue on there, but there just wasn't enough area to put some hot glue, and I knew I could just lay these on there and walk away and that they would dry. See, there just wasn't enough area, and I knew the hot glue doesn't really hold metal that great. So that one was out of frame, but the rest of them will be. I just love these little keys. I think they're so precious, kind of vintagey. This one didn't have much area to glue down, but it stuck just fine. And finally, this last little one, and I didn't even put any twine on this piece, but it turned out beautiful. I absolutely love it. So let me know in this video which one is your favorite. Be sure to like this video and comment and subscribe if you're not subscribed, because all of those things help my channel. I want to thank you for watching this video, and I want you to remember to be still and know that He is God.